What it do, baby?
Yo, yo.
We're back. Welcome back to the Eurosteppers podcast, guys. As you guys know, we took an upload break for about 6 weeks, so it's been time. We had exams, much needed break with the grind too, but we're back. We're ready to get back into the flow of things and bring you guys amazing quality content every week, every Monday. So without further ado, let's get started.
For sure. Man, it's exams have been tough. Been on that grind, so I hope you guys can appreciate we took some time off, like Johnny said. But now, we're back to getting on it every single week. So you can expecting Monday drops every single week from now on.
Oh, for sure.
So our first point is Big Brody, Russell Westbrook tying Oscar Robertson for triple doubles. This is, for me, absolutely monumental in his legacy as a player, as an Hall of Fame athlete in the NBA. This man gets disrespected way too much. He has tied Oscar Robertson for the most triple-doubles in NBA history with 181 triple-doubles. That is absolutely insane. Just take that in, man. 181 triple-doubles. And he does it so often that people don't even seem to care about anymore. It's become so common that it's not worth that novelty anymore, which to me is absolutely crazy.
Facts, bro. 100%. So, a lot of NBA players will go through their entire career and one triple double is their career highlight. It could be a career highlight, career game. Some the majority of players probably over 90% never recorded triple double ever. And for him to be doing it on a consistent basis and still get disrespected and in general just people are taking it for granted 100%.
Yeah.
One crazy stat I saw on Twitter is that so here it is. So Russell Westbrook has 136 triple-doubles in 295 games in 4 of his last 5 seasons. So that's a triple-double rate of 46.1%. Over that same span in the past 5 years, he shot 43.5% from the field. So basically, in summary, over the last 5 years, he's more likely to record a triple-double than make a shot.
That is
game, which is
just take that in. That is absolutely crazy to think about. My God, I'm not sure what's more impressive though. The fact that his percentage for triple-double is so high or the fact that his shot percentage is so low. So I guess that speaks volumes to the kind of player he is in both ends of the court, his efficiency and also his ability to record triple-doubles.
Yeah, even with quickly with this 43.5% from the field, considering for example, look at OKC, considering his high usage rate and not much help around him, in the high volume, that's still pretty impressive. Obviously he gets a lot of his shots, he's a high energetic guy. Driving to the rim dunks, and athletic plays, not really too much threes, but still, yeah, I'd say still amazing.
There's another thing. This man has averaged a triple-double 4 out of 5 of his last 5 seasons. That is phenomenal to think about, because he had a 3-year streak of a triple-double average.
Yeah.
Then it kind of fell off a little bit at Houston, but the man was still averaging 27 points per game, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds per game, which is crazy. And now at the Wizards, he's doing things we've never seen before. It's absurd what he's able to do here.
Yeah.
And just a quick note to all the haters out there at the beginning of the season saying that this is Bradley Beal's team, that this team was a flop, that this team is going nowhere. Russell Westbrook has put this team on his back ever since that quad injury, and they haven't looked back since. This team has been phenomenal. They had something like a 9-game win streak a couple weeks ago. Caught an L, but now they're back on winning streak, so that this team is for real, and they're a for real 8 seed. I'm feeling bad for the 76ers who have to go against them in their first round.
Yeah, even in general, the media is always for example, at the beginning of the year, they lost a couple of games, they were bad. Yeah. They said Westbrook's washed up, even though he's playing through a quad injury on his other quad. And now everyone's showing love to Washington and saying, oh, they're a dangerous 8 seed and stuff. So it's, just pick a side. We know,
bandwagon.
I think we put them around 7-8.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the year, because we really like that duo. I know you've always been high on Westbrook, and I think that raises the question now: do you think he's a top 5 point guard of all time?
Yes, there's just no question to it. Shout out SJ. This guy's a hater. He's a big time Russ hitter. SJ, my guy. Russell Westbrook is easily a top 5 point guard of all time. Only point guards I'm putting above him, and the only one that's debatable for me are 2. Curry and Magic are above him, no question. I can't disrespect those 2 legends. And then the third and the only one would be John Stockton for me. That's it.
Wow. Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is top 5.
I'm going to agree with that. I think he's top 5, 2 of all time. I'm unanimously, or 100% Curry and Magic over him.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe Steve Nash. probably Chris Paul just because of like his overall career, even though he doesn't have that ring. And then
Yeah.
I think Westbrook is levels better than John
Yeah.
Stockton. Like John Stockton's
Yeah.
still nice, but if you put Westbrook back in that era, like he would go nuts.
For
Like he
sure,
would
for
just
sure.
kill you guys.
I can't disrespect what he's able to do. Like John Stockton would have 2 rings if it wasn't for Jordan. So
Yeah.
like it's just crazy to think about their careers. And we're comparing all-time greats here, so there's no wrong answer for sure.
Yeah. And even like Jordan and Kobe too, like when they were both asked which current day player reminds them most of themselves, they both said Westbrook.
Yeah,
Because
like
he has that dog in him.
he has
So
that mama mentality, bro. It's like no other player we've seen before. The determination, the grit, the mentality. No matter what team he's on, to go out there and give his 110% to me is the epitome of a Hall of Fame athlete. So, credit to Russell Westbrook. There's a lot of haters out there, but I know he knows who he is, and he's a top 5 point guard of all time, no question.
yeah, like why not? Like why not
Why not? You're
is he
right.
a top 5 point guard
Exactly.
of all time?
Moving on to our next point, Kendrick Perkins was popping a perk on First Take. This man, he brought up the question of whether or not and the NBA or the NFL championship is harder to win. And he said that it's harder to win an NBA championship by far. And, me and Johnny kind of made a pros, cons list, kind of analyzed it a bit. And it was tough to come to a conclusion, but let's kind of break it down a bit. Why do we think that the NBA is harder to win? What points are for?
Yeah, so I think we're going to be a bit biased too, just because we watch a lot of NBA. So, like for example, I'm going to say an NBA chip is going to be hard to win as well. And yeah, Kendrick Perkins too. Like he says some good stuff, but he's not really relevant because like I think he only played like 15 minutes during his like Cavs career.
Something
and,
like that.
Whenever he says stuff, you can always find his Twitter highlights of him just airballing shots and stuff. But jumping back to our point, so for the NBA, why is it harder to win an NBA championship over the NFL? You have a way more games. You have to win 16 games. In comparison to the NFL, we only have to win 3 or 4 to the Super Bowl. Also, not only do you have to win more games, but you have to beat the same team more times. So you're playing each team a minimum of 4 times, and that's assuming a sweep. Most series can usually go to like 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you're exhausted. Yeah, playing way more games, and also during the regular season, you're playing your teams in your conference multiple times. So opponents get to feel you out, especially when you're playing the same team potentially 7 times. Like they're gonna have you figured out. So you got to come up with new stuff. And yeah, overall harder to beat them.
For sure. I think the only points against it, why the NFL be harder, is because the best team usually wins. Like there's less upset, less chance. Like you said, you have 4 games to beat a team. Even if you have an off game, those can be reversed. Like LeBron's not feeling himself one game, that's okay. You got 4 more games to make it up. So I think that's what NFL fans are saying it will be easier to win because the best team will usually come out on top. You can make a mistake and still be fine. Whereas in the NFL, some points for it would be that players always need to bring their A game. Like there's no second chance. You lose, you're done. You're out of the Super Bowl. Easy as that. There's also less games in the regular season to feel out your opponents. So you don't really have a gauge for how good a team may play or how well they may play against you or your style of play. And then the last point would be that you might not even see your opponent to the Super Bowl final, which is kind of crazy. Like the NBA, you got to play every single team at least once. Most teams 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 times, which is crazy. But yeah, in the NFL, there's a chance that you might not even see that team into the finals.
Yeah, and just like some points why it could be easier for the NFL is, you can have a lucky run in the playoffs. There's only you're only playing 1 game. You don't have to play a team in a series. It's just 1 game. Like you said, you always need to bring your A game, but also it's easier for teams to have a lucky run because, again, it's only 3 to 4 games to the Super Bowl. And also less games means you're not as physically exhausted as well. And just that overall, chance factor, there's just way more chance in that 1 game compared to a series. Yeah, kind of like – oh, no, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you were about to say this too. Just basically to summarize it, we basically believe that it's harder for smaller teams or lower seeds to win in the NBA, and then it's harder for bigger seeds or bigger teams or higher seeds to win in the NFL. But for me overall, I'm a bit biased, but I'm gonna have to go with the chip, the NBA chip. I think overall it's harder. You got to play more games. Like the mental grind, the physical exhaustion to get to that chip, for me is phenomenal, and it basically sums up the epitome of like one of the greatest athletes of all time to be able to get to that and to lead a team there. So, a bit biased, but yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to ask you before, kind of looking at all these facts. We did our research, kind of nice table. Shout out Mr. McNiven
Yeah,
in our business class.
for sure, for
But
sure.
yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Maybe there's a bit of potential bias, but yeah, I'm going to side with Kendrick Perkins. I think he's been saying some good stuff recently. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe he's not off a perk.
Yo, stay on those perks, Kendrick. They're treating you well. They're treating you well.
But yeah. Moving on, we've talked about some good stuff. Time to talk about some bad stuff. Going on, Mayday, the Lakers have hit Iceberg Drummond, and Drummond is currently sinking them down to the bottom of the lake in LA and to the bottom of the Western Conference.
I like that analogy there. I like that a lot. The Iceberg Drummond is a big, big iceberg. Let me tell you that. Just a little stat here that StatMuse pulled up. Shout out to StatMuse. We get a lot of our stats from there. You should check them out if you have Twitter. Phenomenal platform. They give the craziest stats, like things out of the blue that you never would have thought of. So definitely go check them out for sure. But anyways, this is a stat on the Lakers. The Lakers are 37-30 right now. And totally overall, without Drummond, they're 32-19. And with Drummond, they're 5-11. So they have a losing record when you add a great player like Andre Drummond to your team, which to me is pretty crazy to think about. I know a lot of Lakers fans were hyped up about this, saying we're running through the West. There's no competition for us anymore. And let me tell you, Lakers fans, it has not looked like that. If anything, I don't think the Lakers have been in such a bad spot since LeBron was injured back in 2018-19, which to me is crazy.
Yeah, obviously the LeBron injury with his ankle has to do a lot of it. AD's had a really mediocre year as well. I think I saw like Kelly Olynyk overall is putting up better numbers than him,
he is,
which is nuts. Like, come on. Like, obviously he's probably battling through injuries too, so kind of has to be taken with a grain of salt. But AD has to fix up for sure. But also like LA's headed to the play-in tournament. If the season ended right now, because they're seventh in the West. Also, I think Portland's sixth right now, and Portland owns that head-to-head. So if they want to jump ahead of Portland, like to get out of the play-in tournament, it's going to be tough to do that. So as of right now, they're scheduled to play in the play-in tournament. As you guys know, or for those that don't know, that's something new this year. With the bubble last year, they kind of like experimented with it as they invited more teams back than 8 per conference. And how it's going to work is basically – so 7 and 8 play and 9 and 10 play. So the winner of 7 and 8 becomes the 7th seed. The loser of that game is going to play the winner of 9 and 10, and then the winner of that game becomes the 8th seed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put up a graphic too, so you guys can see that kind of how it's scheduled. But yeah, LA, if the season ended today, they'd be playing Golden State in the play-in tournament right now, which is crazy. But yeah,
that was crazy. I want to keep pushing my Bucks schedule forward, and I just want to say something real quick. All the people out there that think that AD is better than Giannis, just take a look at this year. That's all I got to say. Injury this, injury that. Giannis came off a sprained ankle and recorded a triple-double against the Brooklyn Nets, so I don't want to hear nothing about sprained ankles or back spasms or anything like that. AD, fix up, bro. You got to fix yourself up.
Giannis has a lot of, like, kind of baby injuries. Like, he's not really injured, bro. Like, the guy's, like, a freak, so, like, he's not really like his injuries, like they're not like true injuries. Like LeBron has true injuries. I don't know about Giannis, but
because he's an alien. That's why Giannis is he's supernatural. He doesn't get those kind of injuries. That's the only explanation why.
Yeah, and I think like Bleacher Report had Anthony Davis like as their number like 3 overall, like 3rd overall player like heading into this NBA season.
Ridiculous.
Which is nuts.
I wouldn't even say he's top 10 right now. He's been that bad this year.
Yeah. No, LA's been a huge disappointment. Like they need to fix up for sure. Because I think, this like kind of like similar to LeBron, I think the one year like the Cavs dropped to, like the 4th or 5th seed and then, they still went through. So like I don't think LeBron will have like won't be that much of a worry. I think the only like worry is them playing potentially like Utah or Phoenix in the second round.
Yeah. Utah and Phoenix are for real this year. Like, look at what the Utah have done without Donovan Mitchell. Been absolutely crazy. He's been out for what? Since April 9th, if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, he's been out for that long, and they've been on a win streak without him. Like that's how good they've been, and they've retained the top seed without Donovan Mitchell, their star player, which to me is in the Western
And
Conference too.
and Dirty
Like,
Mike too.
wow.
He's been out with the hamstring.
Yeah, Dirty Mike has been out too. But yeah, Dirty Joe, speaking of our legend, Dirty Joe's been carrying them. He's
He's
been
been
stepping up
balling,
big
bro.
time for
Bro,
them. Yeah, he's a
I
baller.
I told you about him, bro. I think we talked about him or Contavious
Yeah,
Caldwell Pope
something like that.
before, and Dirty Joe he's
He's a
been doing his
baller.
thing. Yeah,
He's a baller. Yeah, you corrected me. I at the beginning I wasn't a big time Dirty Joe guy, but yeah, that's my guy now. Like, that's my go-to guy.
yeah.
Moving on, talking about the Bucks a little bit. Let's talk about the top 3 East playoff race. You know, the Tour de East. That's what we're calling it. Right now, the current standings listed at 76ers 47 and 21. The Bucks are at 43 and 24, and the Nets are also at 43 and 24. The Bucks got a game to play today, so they might even cement that lead above the Nets. But
I mean,
yeah,
cement their lead.
cement their lead. Cement their lead as the second seed
Look,
over the Nets.
let me tell you this: the Milwaukee Bucks are going out in the first round this year.
There's absolutely
They're
no
going
chance
out
that
in the
happens.
first round.
Let's make a bet on it
Guaranteed.
then. What do you want to offer? What do you want to put up?
If the Raptors were in it, I'd probably bet like $10 or $15. You know, maybe we can come up with another like dare like for fantasy.
All right, how about you shave your head if the Bucks move on? If the Bucks get to the
Nah.
Eastern Conference Finals, you shave your head.
If the Raptors were playing them, then I'd probably put that up for stakes. But nah.
All right, we'll think about it. About
Yeah.
it.
And guys, if there are any like dares or anything, you know, we'll probably be doing something like that soon. So just like drop them.
No, for sure.
it
We'll do
below.
some playoff dares for sure. You guys just drop them down below, and we'll pick and choose them for sure.
Yeah, but nah, the Bucks, like I'm telling you right now, bro, they're going out in the first round this year.
There's literally no way. There's no way they go in the first round. Drew Holiday has absolutely transformed this team. I don't know how else to put it. I know you know I'm a big Drew guy. I absolutely love him. I love what he's been doing for this team. From Bledsoe to this is absolutely ridiculous. Shout out to John Horst for getting this deal done. Drew Holiday has literally transformed how the team plays.
You guys
paid
a lot of money for him too, so you know
he did pay a lot of money, but it's worth it. We got all of our big 3 locked in for the next 5 years. That's big time. That is big time. People saying that no one wants to come to Milwaukee. Drew signed, Chris signed, Giannis signed. So don't tell me no one wants to come to Milwaukee.
Realistically, Drew's not even like a top 15 point guard. I can name 15
top 15
better than Drew
Top
Holiday.
15.
Yes,
Are you crazy?
Yes.
Oh
Easily.
my god.
Easily.
Let us know down in the comments if Drew's not a top 15 point guard. He might be. He's arguably the best two-way point guard in this league.
So what? Like, how come? If he's the best two-way, how come Kevin Porter Jr. gave him 50?
You can have bad games, can't you? Is that illegal now? Is that illegal?
On offense you can, but on defense it's always something you can control.
I don't know. I think it's okay to have an off game. You know, he's had COVID recently. He had COVID recently. He was talking about how the symptoms are lagging on for months. You know, COVID's serious, bro. You know, make sure you wear your mask, all that stuff, guys.
Well, Kevin Porter Jr. went to the strip club. He got hit in the head. Or one of his teammates got hit in the head with a bottle, like Sterling Brown.
Something like that.
Got into a fight, comes back a week later and gives him 50. So, defensive
man,
player of the year, bro. I don't know. I think he's a scam.
That's the new James Harden. That's the new James Harden. They got a new James Harden 2.0 in Houston. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but you know, going back to this playoff race, you know, we see Philly has like a pretty substantial or like kind of like little like 4-game cushion. Yep. Right now, I think we're only like 5-6 games left to go. Do you see anyone the Bucks or the Nets overtaking Philly? And how do you think like Milwaukee and Brooklyn will play out?
I'm gonna be honest. I think 76ers got it locked up. Mm-hmm. I think that they're the 1 seed. I think they only need like 1 or 2 more wins to cement it, like mathematically, as the number 1 seed. Bucks and Nets is interesting. I think the Nets have a harder schedule remaining, so it'll be tough to see. Plus, the Bucks hold the head-to-head between them. So even if they tie, the Bucks are taking 2nd seed. Yeah. So for me, I've got 76ers, Bucks in 2nd seed, and then Nets in the 3rd seed. But I think the Nets don't really care where they land right now. I think they know James Harden's going to come back healthy, and they're probably going to wreak havoc in the East. Like, they're probably going to be pretty aggressive. So I think no matter where they end, they could be 3, 7, 10. They could be in the play-in, and they would probably still make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. But I think it's kind of sad that we see these two teams, the Bucks and the Nets, 2nd and 3rd, because like that means that they're going to meet up sometime before the conference finals. Yeah. And to me, this matchup has been, I know I'm a bit biased, but it's been the best matchup out of any 2 teams in the NBA this season. Every game has been absolutely incredible, all within like 3 or 4 points, which is crazy. Over 3 games, all games have been that close. And Giannis and KD have been putting on an absolute show. So for me, I somehow wish this could happen, but unfortunately it probably won't.
Yeah, no, as of right now, they're probably going to meet, like, most likely if everything goes according to plan in the second round. So
Yeah,
be an amazing second round matchup. Some good, great quality games early on in
yeah,
the playoffs, which is going to be good. But yeah, I think because like Philly too, they have like a super easy path right now. We were talking about it
yeah,
yesterday where the 8th seed right now is Charlotte, so like Philly has to play Charlotte, and then Atlanta and New York are 4th and 5th right now. So
yeah.
Philly's dodging bullets because
100%.
I think 6th and 7th right now are Miami and Boston. So those are two tough matchups for Milwaukee and Brooklyn
Yeah.
in the first round. So
Yeah,
in
this
the
year's
East,
strange. This year's very strange. I mean, like the fact that the Heat and the Celtics are this low, and we know that they're good. They just had a rough
well,
start.
the
Like
Heat are a
they're
one
gonna
hit
turn up.
wonder. The Heat are a one hit
The
wonder
Heat are 1 and
realistically.
100.
The
You think so?
Celtics should be doing a lot better. They should be like 4th or 5th, but the
Well, we'll
Heat,
see. We'll
I'm
see.
not surprised that the Heat are 6th, 7th right now.
Yo, remind me, where are your Raptors again? Can you, can you
Bro,
let us know where the Raptors are?
look, Brooklyn's gonna run through the East, so there's literally no point in contending in the
Oh,
East this
okay.
year.
So basically, besides the wise one for
Yeah,
tanking this early, he just knew. He knew all ahead of time.
100%.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Masai then. Shout out to Masai for being that smart. But yeah, no, to your point, I think that the 76ers with this 1 seed it's kind of sad. It's a pity because as a Bucks fan, past few years we've had that 1 seed and it hasn't meant that much.
Yeah,
Like the teams have been tough. But this year, the 1 seed, absolute cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I mean no disrespect to the Hawks or the Knicks, but like let's just be real here. Playing against the Celtics versus the Heat in the first round compared to playing against the Knicks or the Hawks in the second round
yeah.
is pretty crazy. Like that's just ridiculous.
Because
But
those teams have had good regular seasons, but like playoff
yeah,
wise, they're gonna be like those are like easy in
yeah,
a 7-game series, 2 easy matchups.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, just like we know that the Heat and the Celtics can turn up in the playoffs. These are playoff teams. They usually don't have great regular seasons, but they are playoff teams. So the Nets and the Bucks have to watch out because these could be first round exits for them if they're not careful.
Yeah. Well, if I'm Brooklyn too, I would consider like trying to lose games to drop to the 4th seed, just
You
for an
think
easier
so?
path. Honestly,
Maybe.
without James Harden too, they might just play their young guys to try to get them
Yeah,
experience, and they're gonna
fair
rest their
enough.
stars before playoffs too.
Yeah, I don't think that the Hawks are too far off of them, so maybe they'll try that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what
Yeah.
happens.
But yeah. Moving on. To our last point, this year's been a crazy year. Not only has there been a pandemic with coronavirus, but there's been a pandemic in the NBA
Yes,
with
sir.
injuries. Guys are dropping like flies. It's actually been crazy. Like, I look like on my fantasy roster and literally like some days like it'll be like fine. The other days I have like 6, 7 guys out. And one day it's just like super annoying and stuff. But
Yeah.
injuries have been absolutely crazy this year.
Yeah, I know. As a fantasy fan, as both us being in the same fantasy league, it has been crazy the amount of injuries that have popped up. Basically,
Yeah.
every single player has something right beside them, whether it's day to day or being out. But yeah, just a crazy number, and I'm not sure how this compares to past seasons. But right now in the NBA, as of Sunday, May 9th, which is today, there are 132 NBA players that are either out or day to day, which is just crazy. I know playoffs are coming closer. Maybe they're resting players. There's also a bunch of small things like just with star players, like just resting them. Like you don't want them playing back to backs and stuff like that. But still, 132 NBA players is just crazy to me in a league where there's less than a thousand players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that there's that many people out.
Nah, for sure. And even in general, there's already been like 5 ACL tears this year.
Yeah,
Jamal Murray, Markel Fultz, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jonathan Isaac, and Thomas Bryant. I guess you can count 6 with Klay Thompson, even though it was
yeah,
before this season. A couple of torn MCLs as well. So, a crazy amount. I think 5, like a lot of guys are like pulling Derrick Rose's, like still respect to D Rose and everything. But I think that has to be like some sort of record for
yeah,
this season because I don't remember seeing like in games and stuff, just the amount of injuries. And even like a lot of the NBA players, like after the Jamal Murray injury, I think Devin Kennedy on the Orlando Magic. Remember he got stretchered off and like
Oh my God, yeah,
players were like
that was
talking about it and
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, like and also like again, like you said, like the very tight scheduling, especially since All-Star break has to do with it. There's like
hmm
a crazy amount of back-to-back games. More than what we've kind of been accustomed to
yeah,
before. And yeah, just in general, like players need a rest because like LeBron's was a big advocate of that too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably not too happy right now with his body. And obviously, like, those effects kind of what guys have been talking about, needing that time off in the summer, like 3-4 months, as opposed to, since I guess, like, if you look at LA and Miami, like, they went all the way till October, November,
Yeah,
December,
that's
back
crazy.
January, or guys back
Yeah.
Christmas Day. So, like, it's only a 2-month off season.
I think the NBA is absolutely working these players to the bone. And, there's only so much you can do. I feel like for the most part, they've got their hands tied behind their backs in terms of scheduling. Because if they don't cram this season, then that just means that next season will be crammed. So I think that by them cramming this season, they're trying to make sure that things get back to normalcy at least, or whatever the new normal will be next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they want to get it back on track because think about it. We start in December, and now we're still going to end on time like usual NBA seasons.
Yeah.
You know how congested that is? They basically sliced off 2 months. They sliced off November and October. So, and with the shortest preseason, like LeBron had less than 70 days of rest after winning the championship.
Yeah.
And he even came out saying that he'll never be back to 100%, which to me was like shocking for an athlete like him of his caliber to say something like that. Like, you know something's up this year, and like, it's sad to see. It's the end of an era for him, especially. Like, it's coming to an end. One of the greatest players of all time, and I would hate to see something bad happen this year to a player of his quality just because of congested schedules. So, to me, these back-to-backs have been brutal, and yeah, I really hope that they consider giving like a hiatus after the season and maybe even pushing back and reducing the amount of games next season just to give these players a rest because they've been absolutely worked to the bone.
Yeah, and at the end of the day too, like, it's all about money. Like, money makes the like not that it kind of like makes the world go around at the end of the day, but like all these decisions are business decisions. Look at the All-Star game too. They probably shouldn't have had it with everything going on.
Yeah.
Players need a break during the season too, and they still had it. A lot of players weren't happy about it. Obviously, they're still going to go play, but yeah, it's definitely like, I guess if the NBA didn't play this year, like, they already lost out on a lot of money. And yeah, basically just money kind of makes, like, runs the league. And also you're seeing it where, like, the NBA like owns the players. Like, obviously when they're getting paid millions and the amount of money they do, they can have their obligations, but everything's about money at the end of the day. Like, that's what it comes down to. And
sure.
It's been proven this year.
100%. Yeah, you can't deny how many injuries there have been this year. Like, all-star players have been, all like the star players have been like talking about it, about how it's been so congested. So, yeah, I hope we see changes. I hope this does not happen again. Obviously, because of the pandemic, there's only so much you can do. But it is what it is. This is going to be one of those tough years. And there's a last point. This kind of takes us back to the NBA, about NBA versus the NFL. Which one's harder? And if you look at this year, like, what's going on with this many games, yeah, it just makes the point even more clear that I think the NBA championship's harder than the NFL, just because look how many games there have been this year. Look how congested it's been. Like, to me, it's a wash, or it's a wrap. Like, it's got to be NBA, but that's just conjecture.
Yeah, quickly, just before we end, I kind of find it interesting. You're kind of talking about how difficult it is to win an NBA championship, but then apparently Mickey had a cakewalk.
Well,
take this and apparently the Raptors championship didn't count either. I just find it interesting.
Raptors championship 100% counted. I'll never take a championship away from any team. But you said it yourself. We're comparing NBA to NFL, but now if we're comparing NBA chips, then that's different. If we're you got to look at it respectively. And if we're comparing the Mickey chip to other chips, come on. That was a cakewalk, an absolute cakewalk in terms of competition. But Mickey got his ring. He's a happy boy. He's all pumped up for this season, and everything will be great for Mickey. All right, guys, that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed our first episode back from our break. Let us know in the comments what you think that we can improve with these videos. We really want to grow and keep giving you guys great content on the NBA, anything related to it. So yeah, let us know down in the comments. Next week, just as a FYI, we're going to be doing a comparison video. If our followers remember, we posted a video a while back in December about what awards we think players would win. So yeah, we're going to be comparing what we had at MVP and who we think will get it now. all those awards, MIP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, everything there, and even our funny awards like the Brick of the Year, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out soon, and we'll keep you guys posted. So yeah, make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, do all that great stuff. We are doing polls every day on Instagram, so make sure you check us out. That's it, guys. Peace.